Yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Monday Night Raw had two great segments tonight that really got you excited for what is to come at WrestleMania regarding Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, and the yet-to-be-announced match that we all know is coming, Edge and Randy Orton. The problem with that is that this was actually the go-home show for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this Sunday, and this show did nothing to get me excited for any of that. In fact, it did the exact opposite and made me not look forward to what we are going to be seeing at all. And we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
We have always maintained that when Randy Orton is evil, and he is vicious, and he is vile, and he is the Viper, he is the very best in the industry at what he does. And he proved that tonight as he laid out Beth Phoenix with an RKO, not so much from out of nowhere, because we all kind of expected that this was how this segment was going to turn out, and it did just that. There was very high drama, a lot of high tension, and a very controversial moment to end Monday Night Raw in a very great way. Monday Night Raw also kicked off in a great way, as Drew McIntyre came out and shut Paul Heyman up from doing all of his Paul Heyman things, and Claymore kicked Brock Lesnar's jaw into the third row of the Barclays Center this evening, leaving him all disheveled, almost knocked out for a good 30 seconds, and then hit him with two more Claymore kicks, pretty much planting his stake in the heart of Brock Lesnar, showing no fear, showing that he is ready for the beast, and it was a great moment to start the show. And everything, literally everything in the middle was just a bunch of WWE hot garbage. And if you need me to prove that to you, let's start off by playing a little game. Sledgeheads, let's play a game. This, my friends, is Riddick Moss. Who? Oh, I'm sorry, I said Riddick Moss. Who? Oh, that's right, this is some clown that they brought up because they think he's something. They put him next to Mojo the Bozo. They strapped them to the, hey, look at me, I'm a clown, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wearing the golden avocado-colored belt of shame. And tonight, this guy beat Ricochet, the one and only loser of the Monday Night Raw roster, which is unbelievable to me. Ricochet is as good as done. You could say goodbye, but we don't have this picture up for you to look at so that we could talk about Ricochet, or for you to see this man's ridiculous looking expression on his face. What I want to bring your attention to is the crowd. Now, as I bring this picture down for you guys, take a look at the crowd. I know it's a little blurry, but you could clearly see some pretty amusing things going on behind the head of Riddick Moss. Take a look at the guy right above his head in the orange sweatshirt. He don't look too happy. Above him, look at the guy with the beard. He's got his thumb in his mouth. He's ripping his nails off because he can't believe what he just seen. Over to his right, you got some King Ross Twiddell looking motherfucker, and he's sitting there in stunned shock. And if you look next to this guy, you see a guy full-on laughing. You see the guy to the far right in the black t-shirt. His mouth is agape with laughter. His ears are poking out of the side of his head, and it's because this is a joke. This is an absolute joke. Look at the surrounding people that we have not pointed out. Look at the cluster to the left. Do they look amused to you? Do they look happy to you? I certainly don't think so. This is not good for Ricochet. This is not the type of reactions you want to see in your crowd. As I pull the picture back up, you could see the thumbs down at the bottom left. There's another thumbs down in between the referee's arm. And does this look good to you? This is Riddick Moss. Your, hey, look at me, I'm a clown, 24/7, avocado-colored championship green belt champion. This man is a champion, and Ricochet is not. Now, I know that the 24/7 championship is not something to be proud of. It's not something that you want to have. But the fact remains, Riddick Moss is a champion on the WWE roster, and Sami Zayn has yet to be a champion on the main roster in the WWE. And you got guys like Ricochet coming off of a match with Brock Lesnar where he was absolutely outmatched and embarrassed. And instead of trying to rebuild him back up, instead of giving him a win to make you realize, alright, he was out of his league with the Beast, but he's still pretty damn good when he stays in his lane. That's not what we got tonight. We got Ricochet thrown under the bus for a chance at the 24th. Well, actually, what is worse? Now that we're talking, what would have been worse? Losing to Riddick Moss or winning the 24/7 championship? Talk about a no-win situation for Ricochet. You want to know about how else the rest of this show was trash? Let's continue to play this game. Let's take a look at something else from tonight's Monday Night Raw. Will you take a look at this? Take a look at this. This is the man. This is our WWE Raw Women's Champion. Remember in the lead up to WrestleMania last year how Becky Lynch was the coolest thing going? We were all on board the Becky Lynch train. She was straight fire. And we wanted to see her in the main event at WrestleMania. We wanted to see all of these things. But you know what I see? I see Elton John's little sister. What the hell is this? Coming out here after almost a full year as the champion. Dressing up in like a creator wrestler costume. Looks like something a 5-year-old created in 2K20. She's a caricature of herself. She's making a mockery of her own character. Instead of actually being the badass cool chick, she's the girl that's trying too hard to stay cool amongst other people that are obviously what the people want to see right now. The Becky Lynch train pulled out of the station a long time ago. She has become boring. She has become bland. Her promo ability has not gotten much better. And they got her sitting on commentary tonight, dressed up like Elton John. Talking shit. Calling herself a king. Telling the world that she's better at everything than everybody else in the entire world. Now, normally that is a kind of championship frame of mind. You want to think that you're the best at everything in the world. But when you say it the way Becky says it, she comes off as such a heel in this scenario. Ultra braggadocious, very conceited, seemingly delusional, and dressed up like an idiot. Now, I love Becky Lynch. I used to love Becky Lynch. My daughter was a huge fan. I thought she was going to be great. And I don't know if it's because she's dating the world's biggest nerd, or if it's because she's feeling the pressure to perform and is really just overdoing it. This looks like a clown to me. This doesn't look like a champion. I don't know how you could take a look at this and then take a look at some of the stuff going on in other women's divisions in other companies. Not necessarily AEW per se, but it's more especially what they do with the girls in NXT and even NWA. takes their women pretty seriously. But come on. Come on. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And I'm not supposed to hit any of this with the poop hammer? Because I am. I'm hitting that with it. I'm hitting Becky Lynch with it. We're hitting Ricochet with it. We're hitting the whole damn Monday Night Raw roster with a poop hammer tonight. Especially whoever came up with the idea for AJ Styles and Ricochet. We were promised AJ Styles versus Ricochet tonight, and what we got was anything but. And the WWE did something completely ridiculous. And instead of having fun with this, instead of making it creative, instead of making it different, or at the very least making it make sense, they take a segment that could have played out over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks and jammed it all into one overly booked segment on one show of Monday Night Raw before an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to make Alistair Black look like an idiot. Kill everything that they have been doing with him up until this moment. Don't even go, oh, well, he was beaten by 3 men, Mr. Nightmare. Are you kidding? Carl Anderson hasn't won a match in I don't even remember how long. Luke Gallows was moreover, as an inbred mouth-breathing retard, Festus. Remember Festus? That was Luke Gallows before he went to New Japan and became cool and then came to the WWE and became completely irrelevant. And just because they beat up Alistair Black does not mean Alistair Black can't put up a fight against AJ Styles. Oh, well, he got jumped. But why did they do this? Why? So that they can book a no disqualification match between AJ Styles and Alistair Black at the Elimination Chamber? Why? Is AJ Styles not set to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania? What does any of this have to do with Alistair Black? Oh, well, they might bring in Kane. Oh, great! They might bring in Kane. They might put him with Alistair Black and The Undertaker versus the OC, the original clown machine, at WrestleMania. Who cares at that point? I barely care that AJ Styles is going one-on-one with The Undertaker. You think I'm going to care more by you adding more garbage to it? This was a ridiculous booking. Do you realize Alistair Black has not lost on Monday Night Raw since he has come up to the main roster? And now he lost tonight in ridiculous fashion for no good reason but to push an agenda for a match that's not even his own at WrestleMania. If they were going to put AJ versus Alistair at WrestleMania, and they wanted to go along this route and tease the match with AJ, you announced this match last week, and now you didn't give it to us. But at least if you would have gave us Alistair Black versus Carl Anderson, Alistair Black gets the clean victory, and now he moves on. Next week, he thinks he's going to get AJ Styles, but AJ throws Luke Gallows in his way. And then he defeats Luke Gallows, nice and clean. No ridiculous referee stoppage or some stupidity like we got tonight. Alistair Black wins clean. He goes on the next week. He thinks he's going to get AJ Styles, and you throw something else in his way. Now you got to beat Gallows and Anderson at the same time. 2-on-1 handicap match. Alistair Black versus the O-Clowns. Leading to now he's beaten Gallows. He's beaten Anderson. He's beaten them both at the same time. The only person left is AJ Styles. You got 2 weeks to WrestleMania. You booked a match. Everybody will be waiting to see it. Alistair Black would still be undefeated. AJ Styles and him would have never touched. And now you have a reason for people to care. It didn't need The Undertaker. These are the biggest problems of the night. And honestly, if I'm WWE, they had 2 tag team matches on this night. I would not have booked a tag team match tonight. Not one. Not even one. Following what we seen Saturday, which may go down as one, well, it definitely is one of the greatest tag team matches any of us has ever seen. Regardless of my criticisms of it, it was one of the greatest matches ever. Greatest of all time. Let's take it easy. But why even bother trying? Why even bother trying? They should have booked this show without a single tag team match because you're only embarrassing yourself. You're giving the world blatant reason to compare what you guys do here to what they do over there. And if you look at tag team wrestling in AEW and then you take a look at tag team wrestling in the WWE, it doesn't even look like the same thing. And it should. Because essentially, it is supposed to be the same. It's tag team wrestling. How do you get that wrong? How do you make it boring? You do it in the WWE. You do things like have the Street Profits beat Murphy and Rollins tonight. Become the tag team champions. For what reason? There was no drive for this matchup. There was no real want for this matchup. The crowd was hot for it because we were in Brooklyn and the Street Profits were very over in Brooklyn. So yeah, maybe it was the right place to give them the title, but this might not have been the right time. I have no reason to invest myself in the Street Profits as champions right now. They've done nothing but news skits and ridiculous recap comedy segments. We've barely seen them in the ring. The Authors of Pain have not been tag team champions yet. The Street Profits find themselves tag team champions. None of this makes any sense to me. And when you think of the fact that they may actually have won these tag team championships just so that everybody pops in Brooklyn, right? And everybody hears, oh, the titles changed hands. And then come Sunday at the Elimination Chamber, Rollins and Murphy will get it right back, making the Street Profits and their first championship reign completely worthless. That's my prediction as to what's going to happen. So Triple H can take his little picture with his tag team from NXT and their championships and wipe his ass with it, because that's what's going to happen. And why does none of this feel authentic to you? Why do you really not care? It's not because it's running the Madonna. It's not because of him. It's because they fucked it up by not making the tag team championships go to the tag team in the Rollins stable. The Dick Disciples of the Monday Night Meathead are useless. If he's going to walk around being the tag team champion and being content with it, they're doing this for him because Brock Lesnar's the champion and Seth Rollins isn't even going to get a whiff of that title until it goes to Drew McIntyre. So until then, we'll just give him the tag team championship. Fuck the Authors of Pain. We don't care. We covered them in piss last year. Who cares about them? We only care about the man bun. The Monday Night Man bun. Ridiculous. And then we had the weekly Latin Flavor Hour. We have to take all of our Latinos and we got to throw them in one segment because we can't figure out anything else to do with a guy like Dr. Dimples, Humberto Carrillo, except put him in a match with Angel Garza. And we can't think of anything else to do with an Andrade than have him in the same ring with a Rey Mysterio, which is the same shit we seen in 2018. We've been doing this for how long? For how long? And when you watch a match like this, the clear-cut star in the whole entire scenario is Angel Garza. The guy's just charismatic. It just bounces off of his skin. He's getting kisses from the crowd, from old grandmas. 'Cause he's just so cute. Look at the young man. What a beautiful man. I don't know, I laughed my ass off when the old lady planted one on Angel Garza here tonight. But this was a good match. I mean, as far as a tag team match in the WWE goes, but as I previously noted, why bother doing a tag team match at all tonight? You should have just said, nope, we ain't even going to try this week. Take the week off from tag team wrestling because we just got shown the fuck up. And our tag team division ain't worth a damn. So many things wrong with tonight's show. Let's do the up and down rundown. There's really not much more than everything we talked about. This might be one of the quickest ones ever, because we covered everything as in that quick, I mean, consider that an open. We've been sitting here for 20 minutes, but that's it. That's all you need to know about tonight's Monday Night Raw. Anything else that happened that I'm not remembering, you don't even need to know. Most especially, we had the unveiling of Erick Rowan's pet in the box. Okay, now, alright, so I'm not one of these guys that likes to sit here and tell you guys that I told you so, but I told you. I told you from the minute we seen that burlap-covered box. There is no way that when we see what's in that box, it's going to be a satisfying payoff. There's no way. And they took it to a whole nother level tonight, because we didn't just have something in the box. We had a giant spider in the box. And the giant spider was not an actual spider. Anybody that tells you that is a real spider is fucking out lying to you. I've seen that exact animatronic robotic spider at Ruby's Costume Company on Jamaica Avenue. They sell it as a Halloween decoration accessory for your home. It's got a little button on the bottom. It makes its arms do this. The eyes light up and he makes a little hissing sound. I can go buy one when Halloween comes around if I want to have that exact spider on this show. An animatronic spider. This is the thing that bit Erick Rowan's hand. This is the spider that spit red on that one guy's face. This is the thing that they decided to come up with because they don't have any idea where they're going with ideas when they come up with them. They just say, all right, well, let's just give Erick Rowan this mystery box. We're not going to flesh out what's in it because it's not really going to matter. And how do you know that it didn't really matter? Because look at the way they unveiled this thing. They didn't even find it important enough, or they didn't think it was even going to get over enough to have it take place in a moment of importance. Like, say, for all these months, all these weeks, we're building up. What's in this box? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You don't have Erick Rowan come out on Monday Night Raw to No Way Jose and the Conga Morons and say, oh, well, I just wanted somebody to ask me nicely, and since you asked me nicely, I'm going to show you my giant fucking spider. No, that's not how this should have played out. You should have had Erick Rowan, over these weeks, feuding with somebody who's obsessed with what is in the box, and he tries to get in the box week after week. Unsuccessfully, Erick Rowan stops him every time. It leads to the matches not having a final outcome, either countouts, disqualifications, Erick Rowan just running away with his box from fear that it's going to be revealed. All of these things. You could have done this with literally any up-and-coming talent. You could have done this with No Way Jose, for all I care. And then the reveal comes when Erick Rowan finally beats No Way Jose on Monday Night Raw or at the Elimination Chamber. And when it's over, he opens the box and the spider crawls out and he puts it on the face and you see the spider. But you see, for any of this to actually have any heebie-jeebiness or to make anybody really feel fucked up about it and like, oh my god, it was a spider in the box the whole time, it would have to be a real spider. What a joke. what a joke this show is. It's like a parody of a wrestling show. You know Southpaw regional wrestling they have on the WWE network? We were seeing clips of it where they were pretty much tongue-in-cheek making fun of themselves. Now that's just become part of the actual show. And on the very same show where I can sit here and tell you that Brock and Drew got me hyped and they did something great at the beginning, and Edge did something just absolutely awful and got everybody talking at the end of Monday Night Raw, on the very same show, you have all of this dog shit that makes you hate being a wrestling fan. Things like having to watch Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott. Why are we seeing this match? Well, we're seeing this match because they're in the Elimination Chamber, Mr. House, and all that. Yeah, of course I know that. So does that mean they had to put fucking Sarah Logan as the referee? It was absolutely necessary. There was no need for that. They haven't been telling that story. All this shows you is what we see constantly in the WWE. They do it with Bayley and Sasha Banks. They do it with Charlotte and Becky. They just don't know what to do with these pairings that they've already come up with. And, well, the Riot Squad, let's break them up. Let's break them up and we'll put them all on their own path. But we'll just have them, excuse me, with each other the whole time. So now instead of them being the Riot Squad, Liv's got a problem with Ruby, Ruby's got a problem with Liv, and for some reason Sarah Logan's getting involved. So essentially we're right back to where we started with the Riot Squad. And the best reason you have for me as to why this happened is the Elimination Chamber, sir. There are 6 other women in the Elimination Chamber that were not used in a way tonight. I'm sorry, 3 other women, that makes 6. Shayna Baszler was in a match with Kairi Sane. Asuka could have been in a match with Liv Morgan. Ruby Riott could have been in a match with somebody else. Giving somebody momentum. Let somebody get a win going in. Ruby Riott gets a win. Liv Morgan gets a win tonight. They both establish momentum going forward into the chamber. Maybe they could actually beat Shayna. yeah, you know what? That was too much of a joke. Nobody's beating Shayna Baszler. It's the most unnecessary, uneventful Elimination Chamber in the history of Elimination Chambers. And this is the only thing they really got. They got this match, and they got AJ versus Alistair Black in a no DQ match. What do you think's going to happen? You think AJ Styles is going to lose to Alistair Black on his path to beating the Phenom at WrestleMania? I don't think so. AJ Styles is going to win for the second time in 1 week, in less than a week, over Alistair Black, as a means to make his match with The Undertaker feel more important. And you guys are okay with that? Alistair Black. This is Alistair Black, one of the best NXT World Champions there were. Come on, man. You gotta do better than that. What the hell are we watching? Why are you doing these things? How do you not know how to do wrestling? It's ridiculous. I can't even take it. Sometimes. I really can't. Let's go down the up and down rundown of the show so we can get on out of here, because I've gotten all of my vinegar out. There's nothing left to do but repeat myself as to how bad this show was. So let's do the recap up to bottom. The show started out with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar coming out. He wanted to talk some shit about Drew McIntyre, which led to Drew McIntyre coming out, kicking Brock Lesnar's face off not once, not twice, but 3 times. Brock Lesnar, I will say, is awesome. You can say what you want about Brock Lesnar, but when he believes in the story they're telling, and he believes in the guy that's on the other side of the ring from him, he can make you look like a megastar, like the strongest man on the planet. He sold the shit out of those Claymore kicks, made Drew McIntyre look like $1,000,000, and it was fantastic. After this, the show immediately went downhill. The Street Profits came out and they wanted to have a match with Seth Rollins and Murphy for the Tag Team Championships. They said that this was their last chance. If the Street Profits didn't win this time, they would never get another shot at the championships again. And I'm asking you why they would make such a proclamation. How many chances at the championship have they had? One? This isn't like they lost 3 or 4 times in their attempts to gain the championship. What a big-time wager that was. Imagine they didn't win the championship tonight. They are never going to get another shot at the championships as long as Rollins and Murphy are champions. Then what is the point of them even being around? They might as well just go back and park themselves at the news desk and wait for Vince McMahon to slip them a few really bad scripts to read. But as of tonight, the Street Profits are our Raw Tag Team Champions. Giving out a loss to Rollins and Murphy, which both of them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to do nothing to Seth Rollins. Buddy Murphy is just along for the ride. And yeah, I still call him Buddy Murphy. I'm not just going to call him Murphy. Even Seth Rollins slipped up tonight. They were walking in the back after suffering defeat. And they were on their way to an interview with Charlie Caruso. And he called Buddy Murphy Buddy. He's like, hold me up, buddy. I'm going to fall, buddy. Ridiculous. Some of the stuff here. But the match was okay. The biggest thing about this match was the interference of Kevin Owens, who appeared, gave Seth Rollins a stunner after the Authors of Pain unsuccessfully tried to interfere into this thing. They did chase Kevin Owens off into the crowd until Ford gave Rollins a frog splash for the pinfall. The Street Profits now are champs. The crowd was absolutely hot for this. They went ballistic. They certainly weren't sitting there dumbfounded like they were in the match that was going to come next. It was kind of fun, and it was a little bit short, but for a championship match, but it was what it was. It was never going to do anything close to what we seen on Saturday night. So like I said, they may have or should have just saved this initial match for Sunday. Or they should have gave the Street Profits the championships back in Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, I don't understand what they're doing any of this for. Following this, Seth Rollins told Charlie Caruso he's challenging the Street Profits for a rematch at the Chamber. He says he can do this because he can. He demands things and he gets things because he whines and cries and I get what I want because I'm number 10. Riddick Moss defeats Ricochet to retain the 24/7 championship. The fact that the championship was on the line in this match was ridiculous because Ricochet, if he won the title, looks like an idiot because he's now just latched with this comedy belt, which I don't know if are they trying to make us take it seriously? Is Riddick Moss supposed to be the guy to put it over for us? This guy that was so beloved in the Barclays Center that everybody in Brooklyn collectively chanted, "Who are you?" That's how good of a job the WWE has done showing us who their roster actually is. Maybe this would have been better off if it was still Mojo the Bozo. At least the crowd in Brooklyn would have known who the hell it was. Ricochet is dead. Ricochet is a dead deal. How do you come back from this? Maybe it's better off he just goes to NXT right now. He could fight Finn Balor. They could make him look great again. Or maybe just go back to 205 Live. You'd be better off there. I don't know whose cornflakes this guy pissed in, but you can guarantee that what I seen tonight with Ricochet reminded me a lot of what we seen with Cedric Alexander. And after he had a series of fantastic matches, he was suddenly and very unceremoniously just turned into a jobber. Beaten in minutes, and then he was just gone. And that's what I'm afraid is the future for Ricochet. AJ Styles cut a promo. He's not in a good mood. He's all pissed off about The Undertaker. And he doesn't have that beautiful two-way trophy because of The Undertaker. All the while building up his match with The Undertaker for WrestleMania. He then wanted to talk about Mark Wahlberg. And he couldn't even say his name. He kept calling him Wahlberg. Berber. I don't know if it was his Tennessee accent or whatever it was, but the guy had a hard time saying Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg had some advice. He had some advice for AJ Styles. He wanted to say, hey, hi, how's your mother? No, that's not what he wanted to say. He wanted to say to just walk away. He told AJ, this is The Undertaker, just walk away. That's his advice. This is not a fight that he wants to take. The crowd started to chant, walk away. And Styles couldn't believe he was getting advice from Marky Mark. Oh, had to go back to that 20-year-old reference. You could have just called him a bad actor or something. Next thing you know, Alistair Black showed up for this match. It was then turned into a match with Carl Anderson, and my interest was immediately dissolved. I didn't care anymore. Alistair Black defeats Carl Anderson in about 5 minutes with the Black Mass kick. No brainer there. Then things start to get a little complicated. Alistair Black defeats Luke Gallows via disqualification because the referee stopped this matchup. Luke Gallows was stomping Alistair Black in the corner. And I guess he didn't stop by the count of 5. I don't remember seeing the referee administer the count of 5, but suddenly the referee called for the bell and disqualified Luke Gallows, giving the win to Alistair Black. But then they would give Alistair Black the Magic Killer, leaving him in the ring for AJ Styles, who defeated Alistair Black in 2 minutes. Now, when you take into account that the total time for all 3 segments is equal to one 15-minute matchup, and I have seen Alistair Black, and I have seen him live at NXT takeovers, and I have seen him wrestle for 20-25 minutes. Things like this don't make sense. You can't have a guy like Black show up and beat 2 jobbers in the form of the O-Clowns and have that serve as the reason for him losing so easily to AJ Styles. He should have turned around and beat AJ Styles tonight to start this feud off in the right direction. Following it up with the no DQ match at the Elimination Chamber, where Alistair Black should win. And then you move this story on to WrestleMania if you need to involve The Undertaker. You want to bring in Kane and The Big Show and everybody else we don't want to see, or whatever the hell plan you're trying to come up with. At least try to do it right, and don't sacrifice a guy like Alistair Black. When you see the treatment of talents like Ricochet and Alistair Black and Kairi Sane and an Asuka, it makes you wonder why they even bother bringing these kids up from NXT if you hate them so much and you're not going to do right by them. Alistair Black should not be losing. Not yet. Not to AJ Styles on a bullshit episode of Monday Night Raw. After being beaten up by 2 losers. 2 guys that don't amount to anything. Best tag team in the world. Why? Because you want a stupid cup? No. Ridiculous. Liv Morgan defeated Ruby Riott with special guest referee Sarah Logan. We already talked about this. I don't want to talk about it anymore because this match was awful. This was a terrible match. It did nothing for anybody. After Liv Morgan got the win thanks to a quick 3 count by Sarah Logan because, Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott were bumping each other in the ring. There was, I'm the referee and, you got to respect me stuff going on. And then Ruby Riott inadvertently hit Sarah Logan because of the momentum of a kick out from Liv Morgan, and that caused Sarah Logan to have her feelings all hurt and made her administer a fast count the next time Liv Morgan rolled up Ruby, which would only lead Sarah Logan to start beating the shit out of Liv Morgan after the match was over because, it's the Elimination Chamber. Every man for himself. Give me a fucking break. Get the Riot Squad away from each other. Not one of them need to be in an Elimination Chamber match for an opportunity at Becky Lynch's Raw Women's Championship. So all of this was wasted time. We see No Way Jose and the whole spider thing happened. The animatronic tarantula came out of the cage. Everybody ran away. This was so stupid. And not worth our time. The last thing we haven't really touched upon just yet. Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, and we're going to end this video and end the analysis with this, because we pretty much said everything we need to say. But this pissed me off. This pissed me off because first of all, you announced this match as Shayna Baszler versus Asuka. Once again, just like they did with AJ and Alistair, they lied to us. They clickbait us, however you want to say it. But I was okay with this because Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane has history. They go way back to NXT. And I've seen them put on some friggin' classics. And I'm like, alright, they're going to give Shayna Baszler a showcase here. They're giving her an opponent she's familiar with. Someone she's going to be able to tear the house down with. And look like a beast while still letting Kairi Sane look like she matters. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. We got a 12-minute, slow, boring match that we just seen Shayna Baszler manhandling Kairi Sane for the story they're trying to tell, because nobody watches NXT. Nobody besides me remembers TakeOver Brooklyn 4 when the two of them nearly killed each other in the ring in one of the better women's matches of that whole entire year. Nobody remembers that, right, Vince? I fucking remember. I got a t-shirt that night. It's got their faces on it. The Pirate Princess and the Queen of Spades tore it down. You want to see what this match could have been? You go back and watch TakeOver Brooklyn 4. It'll be more worth your time. Because this was an unfair misrepresentation of Kairi Sane. This was a misrepresentation of Shayna Baszler. This was just an agenda. This was another agenda. When you see how they put the handcuffs on Kairi tonight and told her to just go out there like you never faced her before and get your ass beat. That's not what would have sold anything here. If you would have had Shayna go out there, give them 12 minutes to have a real match, and Shayna came out as the victor, she didn't have to squeak it out. She didn't have to win by DQ. She could have won clean. But have a real match. Let her show what she can do. Let Kairi get a showcase. Get over in a loss. Those are things that you can do in wrestling. That's not what we did here. How can you have Shayna Baszler in a match with Kairi Sane on Monday Night Raw and get "this is boring" chants out of the crowd? Ridiculous. Finally, Baszler applied the Kirifuda clutch, gets the win. But the story here, more than anything else, was Elton John showing up in the middle of the match. She came out to do commentary so that they can go to commercial break. And then Becky Lynch is standing up there screaming at Shayna Baszler, "I'll put my boots on. I'll put my boots on." Well, go ahead, go. Go put your fucking boots on and get on out of here. Because the segment's over. Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo defeated Andrade and Angel Garza in a 20-minute match where we seen mostly commercials on this end. If you guys were in Brooklyn and at the Barclays Center, I'm sure you guys saw a much better version of this match than we did. Too many breaks here for this matchup. There was a lot of love for Eddie Guerrero from the crowd in this matchup. But finally, the Dr. Dimples and Tiny Dad duo finally get a win over the heels because they've been losing to these guys for I don't even know how long. So does it even matter? How many times has Carrillo lost to Garza in singles, lost to Andrade in singles, and now because he's with Rey Mysterio, he wins one match and I'm supposed to get back on the Dimple Mobile? Not going to happen. This match was okay. Very good at times. But once again, coming off of what we seen the other night, you should have just gave us some time to forget before you attempted to put on some tag team matches tonight. They made the official announcements. Rollins and Murphy get their title rematches against the Street Profits on Sunday, and Alistair Black faces AJ in that no DQ match. Beth Phoenix came out to tell us about the state of her husband. Before she really even got going, Randy Orton came out and put a stop to all of this and really brought things to another level. Randy accusing Beth Phoenix of being the one that caused all of this. He told a great story about the first time he met Edge in 1999 and how Edge looked up to Cowboy Bob Orton, and that was something that Randy Orton always took with him. He highlighted how Edge picked him up from the depths when he was falling down a hole and almost got filled up and sucked up into that hole. But Edge reached down and grabbed him out and brought him back to it. He remembered when Edge offered his support to him as a young talent trying to break in. He remembers traveling all over the world and wrestling Edge in main events. He remembers when RKO was formed. Which is why he loves Edge like a brother. He considers Edge family of his own. And what he did to Edge was not due to what many of us in the community were speculating, which is he's just trying to get revenge because Edge eliminated Orton from the Royal Rumble. That's not what we've seen. We've seen Edge eliminated from this equation due to the love of Randy Orton. He did this because he loves Edge. Loves him more than Beth Phoenix, he claimed. He claimed he loved the children, Lyric and Ruby, more than Beth Phoenix. Because he's trying to protect Edge. He's trying to do what's best for him. He's trying to save him by doing what he did now and sparing him a life of pain. Now he can go be a father. He can go be a husband. He can go play softball with his kids because he's not going to come back to wrestling and end up killing himself. Claimed that Edge was a junkie for the roar of the crowd. This was all amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Right from the get-go. Before one word was even uttered, Randy Orton went in for a hug. He had the balls to go in for a hug, but again, when you're watching this, you're like, this guy's a maniac. But then when he tells you his story, you're like, he really thinks what he's doing is right. And that is the mark of a true villain. You know what he's doing is fucked up. I know what he's doing is fucked up. But in his mind, what he's doing is 100% right. And it is all being done out of love. One tiny thing about this segment that I didn't like is that the WWE felt the need to have Beth Phoenix strike Randy Orton first. Now the slap, I don't mind. Randy said a lot of shit. It finally boiled over. Beth Phoenix reared up, smacked him across the face. That's standard wrestling stuff, and that was fine. The very next thing that needed to happen was an RKO out of nowhere. But that's not what happened. They had Beth Phoenix kick Randy in the gut so that she, drew first blood, so to speak. She struck him, so he struck her in self-defense, where he snapped because she struck him. I don't understand the need for that. This is Randy Orton. This is the guy that kissed Stephanie McMahon while she was unconscious in front of her handcuffed husband. You think he needs to answer to anybody because he RKO'd Beth Phoenix after she slapped him in the face? The kick wasn't necessary. But so minor. That's just nitpicking and just me noticing that they had to do that to sort of protect Randy from the outrage of, oh, he just outright RKO'd her. He's like, no, he was retaliating for something that the Glamazon did. But he left Beth Phoenix laying in the ring, and for the first time in I don't know how long, the Raw announce team knocked this segment out of the park. I thought their reaction was great. They all have a personal relationship with Beth Phoenix. They all were genuinely concerned. Tom Phillips looked like he was about to cry. Byron Saxton was pissed. Jerry the King Lawler was in like a stunned silence, and they sold the moment fantastically. I don't know why we had to have Natty and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins and everybody come to the ring instead of just having medical personnel come out, clear Beth Phoenix from the ring. But all of those people that were in the ring have a very close tie to Edge or Beth Phoenix personally. When you're talking about Natalya, talking about the original Edge heads, Ryder and Hawkins. R-Truth was out there, who's been a long-time friend of Edge and Beth Phoenix. Rey Mysterio has been in the company with Edge since the 2000s. Devon Dudley and the Hurricane were also there. Long-time members of the WWE family, long-time friends of Beth Phoenix and Edge, so it did make sense for them to be there showing their concern. I just thought it would have been smarter to have, EMTs and stuff. Go check out the former champion, take care of the Hall of Famer. But it was a great story. Great story, and I cannot wait for Edge to come back. This thing is going to boil over, and by the time we get to WrestleMania, it is going to hit a fever pitch, and it's going to end up being probably the sleeper match of the night. Now, I say that because, we're talking about Edge and Randy Orton, and they are a little bit up there in age, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be giving them the credit that they deserve, and they might just actually steal the show. Paul Heyman wants to call WrestleMania one of the most stacked WrestleManias we've had in some time. In decades. Yeah, stacked with shit. The hell out of here. I'm not looking forward to anything that SmackDown's got going on. But as of right now, Monday Night Raw has the two must-see matches that WrestleMania is going to have. And it's not, strangely enough, it's not AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Not yet, anyway. They haven't given us reason to care. And honestly, from the rumors I'm hearing and the things we were seeing during tonight's Monday Night Raw, if they change it into some tag team match where it's not just AJ and Taker going at it at Mania, then I really don't care. And it's really useless. So, it doesn't get a poop hammer like the rest of the stuff. But we'll have to wait and see how all that turns out. Sledgeheads, that was your Monday Night Raw review tonight. The first one of the month of March as the wonky-ass road to WrestleMania continues to wind down. We have one more stop before we get to the Elimination Chamber this Sunday, which will be on wrestling's shittiest wrestling show, and that, as you all know, is Suckdown on Fox, which we will get to on Friday. We hope to see all of you guys there for that one. If you had a good time here today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become a Sledgehead right now. Be one of the over 2,000 plus that know when you want your wrestling reviews full of fun, full of honesty and truth, and laughing and fun and a good time. Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. Make sure you hit that like button. If I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why this episode of Monday Night Raw was great at times, but mostly sucked donkey balls, smash that like button right now. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to know what was wrong with tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. And support the show any way you can. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on the Instagram, and anywhere else you can get your hands on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, which is on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and Spotify, with more to come. That, my friends, is going to do it. I'm tapped out, I'm exhausted, and I will see you guys back here Wednesday night for the follow-up show to AEW Revolution. So far, the best pay-per-view of the year. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. He's not a fucking rubber mallet, assholes. He's a sledgehammer because I say it's a sledgehammer. It's my show, it's my prop, and when I say it's a sledgehammer, it's a sledgehammer. So back up off me. And this is his championship partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. That is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.